What if your memories aren't just keeping you awake, but quietly controlling you? Each night as your body surrenders to rest, your mind clings to stories it refuses to release, moments you wish you could forget, conversations that replay like broken records. But what if you didn't have to carry them into sleep? What if there was a way to erase just enough to let you drift? These techniques have been hidden, banned and buried beneath silence, not because they don't work, but because they work too well. Tonight, you'll be guided through 100 forbidden memory rituals, one by one, whispered into the folds of your consciousness until sleep finds you. Close your eyes. This is just the beginning. Your memories aren't fixed. They're fluid, soft like clay, reshaped each time you recall them. Every sleepless night is a war between your desire to rest and your mind's refusal to let go. The hippocampus, your brain's memory gatekeeper, doesn't sleep when you do. It replays. Neuroscientists call it reconsolidation, a chance to rewrite what hurts you. But ancient cultures knew this long before science did. They passed down rituals to blur grief, dissolve trauma, erase shame. The Soviets tried to hack it. The CIA tried to weaponize it. Shamans danced it into dreams, but it was too powerful, too unpredictable. So it was hidden. These techniques blur the line between healing and forgetting, between freedom and loss. Tonight, you'll remember how to forget. Number 1, the mirror fade. Close your eyes and let the memory rise without resistance. Imagine it appearing on a mirror, foggy and delicate, like breath on glass. It begins clear, but every slow breath you take makes the image blur. Each exhale smudges it further, like time erasing fingerprints. You don't need to force anything, just breathe and observe. The sharper the memory once was, the faster it fades now. Let it lose its edges. Let it become soft, distant, and unreal. You're not destroying it, you're just allowing it to disappear. When the mirror clears, it won't be empty, it will be peaceful. You will no longer need to revisit what no longer needs you. The mind is allowed to forget, and sleep always follows forgetting. Let the image fade and float away. 2. Neural fire ritual. Picture a fire, not hot, but warm and golden, burning quietly inside your mind. In your hands are thoughts and memories you've carried too long. Some are heavy with guilt, others sharp with regret. One by one, you feed them into the fire. Watch them curl, crackle, and lose their shape. The flames are gentle, but final. You don't rush this. Let each thought surrender on its own. The fire asks for nothing but honesty. You don't need to analyze or explain. The moment you let go, it takes over. It transforms pain into ash and silence. When the last memory has burned, only warmth remains, and with warmth comes rest. 3. Blank slate technique. You find yourself in an old classroom deep within your imagination. There's a massive chalkboard stretching across the horizon, covered in chaotic scribbles. Each mark represents a memory, some loud, some subtle, all clinging to space. In your hand is a soft eraser, smooth from years of use. You press it gently to the surface and begin to wipe. The chalk resists at first, but slowly, it starts to disappear. As you continue, you notice your chest becoming lighter. It's not about erasing your past, just releasing its control over your present. Every cleared patch on the board feels like space in your mind opening up. When the board is clean, there is no judgment, only calm. You can choose what to write again, or leave it blank for a while. Tonight, let it stay blank. Let the silence fill in the space where memory once lived. You're ready to sleep now. 4. Memory dimming protocol. There is a volume knob inside your mind, and tonight, you're going to use it. Choose the memory that's been playing too loud. Notice how vivid it is, colors sharp, sounds echoing. Now, reach for the knob and begin turning it slowly to the left. The sounds grow quieter, the colors less saturated. The intensity begins to soften. With each breath, turn the volume down further. You're not denying it happened. You're just lowering its control over you. There's a moment where it feels far enough to stop. Let that be the moment you let go. Let the memories sit in the background, barely audible, like a hum. That hum won't keep you awake anymore. In this quiet, your nervous system can finally rest. And rest becomes sleep. 5. The river bleed. Imagine a river flowing behind your thoughts, silent and deep. You walk to the edge with a memory cupped in your hands. It feels fragile now, like something that doesn't belong to you anymore. Place it gently on a leaf and set it onto the current. Watch it float away, slowly at first, then faster as the current takes hold. You do not chase it, you only observe. This is not abandonment, it's release. The river was built to carry what we can't. As the memory disappears around the bend, your chest begins to open. You may forget what it looked like. You may not. That part doesn't matter. What matters is that it's no longer here. And without it, sleep has space to arrive. Paper shredder illusion. Visualize an office in the back of your mind, dusty, quiet, and full of old files. You walk in and find a folder labeled with your name. Inside are records of every moment you've overthought, every conversation you replay before bed. You open the drawer, take a sheet, and feed it into the shredder. It slices cleanly, quietly, without hesitation. The first page is the hardest. The second is easier. You don't read them, you just let them go. This shredder does not ask questions. It exists for this very purpose, mental decluttering. Keep going until the folder is empty. When you're done, the room feels lighter. You've made space again, for peace, for dreams, for sleep. The static cloud. Bring the loudest memory to the front of your mind just for a moment. Don't be afraid of it, just observe. Now, imagine a cloud of static, soft and buzzing forming around it. Slowly, the memory begins to dissolve into this static. The images become grainy, the voices distort like a radio stuck between channels. It becomes harder to hold on to. Soon it's just fuzz, unintelligible, harmless. You try to recall it clearly but find you can't. That's the point. The static is a filter, not a cage. It doesn't trap, it transforms. Let your mind bathe in this white noise. Sleep lives in that peaceful hum. The salt ritual. Imagine a wide circle of salt drawn around your bed, unbroken, ancient, protective. In the center lies the memory that's been keeping you up. It shifts and resists your gaze, but the salt keeps it from moving closer. You don't need to fight it. You only need to name it quietly, then blow softly toward it. The salt stirs and begins to scatter, taking the memory with it. You don't know where it goes, and you don't need to. The ritual has done its work. You feel your body settle, protected, and clean. This space is sacred now, and there is nothing left to fear inside it. The memory is gone. Only sleep remains. 9. The candle melt. Picture a single candle flickering at the center of your mind. Its flame is steady, and inside it burns a memory. It doesn't scream, it just glows quietly. With every passing moment, the candle melts. The memory softens with the wax, becoming part of the wax itself. No action is needed, just presence. You are the observer now. There's no need to intervene. When the candle burns out, the memory will be nothing but smoke. You don't even have to watch it vanish. just know that it will. Let the candle shrink. Let the flame do the work. And let your breath grow deeper as the light fades. Sleep will follow the final drop. 10. The fog ritual. You step into a thick, quiet fog that rolls through your mind like a dream. The air is cold, but not unpleasant. Behind you, memories try to follow, but in this fog, they lose form. You keep walking, slowly, without turning back. The voices behind you become softer, muffled, distorted. Your pace is calm, steady, unhurried. You know you're not lost. You're becoming unreachable. The fog absorbs names, faces, regrets. They are still there, somewhere, but not where they can touch you. In this space, thoughts lose direction. You feel your weight shifting, your mind floating. There's only you, the quiet, and the fog. And just beyond that is sleep. 11. The glass fade method. Picture the memory as an image etched into a pane of glass. It sits before you, perfectly detailed, almost painful in its clarity. But the glass has begun to frost at the edges, slowly creeping inward. Each breath you take fogs the surface a little more. You run your fingers across the memory, but the cold dulls your touch. It becomes harder to make out the details. Faces blur, voices quiet. The image doesn't disappear all at once. It fades like a dream before waking. Let it keep fading. The harder you try to remember it, the softer it becomes. Eventually, all that's left is a faint silhouette behind white frost. There's no longer anything sharp left to cut you. Only silence and the subtle chill of letting go. The glass doesn't shatter, it simply turns opaque. You turn away from it, and that is enough. 12. Memory Vault Protocol. Deep in your imagination, there's a steel vault sealed behind a heavy door. It hasn't been opened in years, but you know it's inside. You walk to it slowly, carrying a memory you no longer want easy access to. The lock clicks open with a sound that echoes in your chest. Inside are hundreds of other memories you once needed daily. Now they sleep, untouched, unbothered. You place this new one among them, not to destroy it, but to protect yourself from it. You don't need to visit every memory every night. Some things are better kept safe behind thick walls. Close the door, turn the lock. You can come back, but you won't need to. This vault isn't about forgetting. It's about choosing when to remember. You walk away slowly, lighter, quieter, ready to sleep. 13. Disintegration ray. You stand in a room made entirely of light and soft frequencies. A single chair faces a floating memory projection. It spins slowly in front of you, hovering in air like a ghost. You raise your hand and a quiet beam of white light emerges from your palm. The beam touches the memory and begins to pixelate it at the edges. Bit by bit, it breaks down, images turning into dust, words into static. You watch as it loses its shape and structure. There's no pain, only transformation. You aren't erasing out of anger. You're liberating yourself from something you no longer need to store. As the last fragments fall, they disappear before touching the floor. The space where the memory existed is now quiet and clean. The ray retracts, the chair empties, and you are free to drift into sleep. 14. Childhood garden. Close your eyes and imagine a garden that never existed but should have. It's lush, colorful, and filled with the kind of safety you wish you had. In this place, the sun is warm, the grass soft, and your younger self is waiting. Walk toward them and sit beside them without speaking. They're smiling, not because life was perfect, but because this moment is. Together, you plant a flower in the soil. This flower holds a memory that never really happened, but your mind doesn't know the difference. You water it with kindness, not facts. And as it grows, it feeds your nervous system with peace. This memory won't challenge you. It only exists to heal. Let the petals open wide and breathe in the calm. In this garden, you are always welcome, and you are always safe. Sleep among the blossoms. 15. Safe House Protocol. Visualize a home that has no location, only a feeling. You approach it through a quiet path lined with lamps that flicker like stars. Inside, everything is designed for you, your favorite smells, your favorite silence. There are no windows, no clocks, and no expectations. This is your safe house, and nothing from the outside can enter. Each time you return, it feels more real, more rooted in your nervous system. You sink into a soft chair that remembers your shape. You close the door, and it seals itself behind you. You are completely alone, but never lonely. Here, you don't have to process, perform, or explain. Your brain begins to relax because it trusts this space. You can stay for as long as you need. In this memory, nothing ever goes wrong. It's always this quiet, and it's always okay to fall asleep here. 16. Quantum Reassurance Loop. You're sitting in a theater with thousands of screens. Each one shows a different version of you in alternate timelines. Some are struggling, some are thriving, but all of them have made it through. You focus on one version of yourself, calm, smiling, at peace. They look directly at you and speak without sound. Everything is okay. The words echo through every screen, folding across dimensions. You feel your chest soften as the message loops endlessly. Even when doubt creeps in, the voice returns. Everything is okay. Not because it's perfect, but because you are surviving it. The loop rewires your fear and replaces it with quiet certainty. You are being held by the versions of yourself that already healed. You don't need to chase progress tonight. You only need to receive this reassurance. Let it loop without effort until you sleep through the signal. 17. The Dream Lake Installation. Imagine walking to the edge of a still violet lake that reflects stars. This place doesn't exist anywhere but in your mind, and that makes it more sacred. You kneel by the shore and press your hand to the surface. Ripples move outward, carrying your current fears away. Now, the lake begins to project memories that never happened, but feel right. You see a version of yourself resting on a boat, peaceful, unbothered. A version of yourself laughing with people you've never met, but still love. The lake creates stories out of longing and fills them with light. These memories don't replace anything. They add something new, something kind, something soft. You lie back and let the images drift above you like constellations. This is your mind restoring itself. No effort, only calm. 18. Echo of the Lullaby. You hear it faintly at first, a tune you never learned, but somehow remember. It's not from your past, it was planted just now. The lullaby carries no lyrics, only feeling. You imagine it being sung to you as a child, even if no one ever did. The tone is gentle, rising and falling like waves on soft sand. It loops, but never gets old. It adapts to your breath. Every note tells your nervous system, you are safe now. And your body listens. You can add your own hum if you want. The lullaby doesn't ask for harmony, just presence. Let it wrap around you like a blanket made of sound. Let it hum away your fears. Even silence will begin to carry its rhythm. Sleep walks in through the music and stays. 19. The lantern path. Picture a dark forest, not frightening, but silent and still. A path unfolds before you, lined with glowing lanterns floating mid-air. Each lantern represents a calming memory you never had but deeply needed. One shows a picnic under stars. Another shows a goodbye that ended in peace, not pain. You walk slowly past them, feeling your body respond to each flicker. The warmth in your chest grows with every step. This isn't nostalgia, it's synthetic serenity. You built it for yourself, and your brain doesn't care whether it happened. It's real enough to relax you. The path never ends, and you don't need to reach the end. Just keep walking, and let the glow lead you into sleep. 20. Memory weaving technique. Visualize a loom inside your mind. Threads of light pulled from nothing. You're not watching it, you're working it. Every movement of your fingers weaves joy into sadness, calm into chaos. You take pieces of real memories and blend them with imagined beauty. The final tapestry doesn't reflect what happened. It reflects what you needed. Colors blend into scenes that never took place but feel like they did. There's laughter stitched beside loneliness, softness woven over scars. Your brain accepts this fabric because it longs for integration, not truth. You're not lying, you're healing through narrative. When the weaving ends, you wrap the cloth around yourself. It fits perfectly. It holds you without squeezing. And within its warmth, you fall asleep. 21. Glass room reversal. Picture a memory unfolding inside a glass room, visible, contained, but unreachable. You step into the room, and suddenly the event begins to play in reverse. Words unsay themselves, tears climb back into eyes. You watch arguments unravel backward until they return to silence. Now walk around the scene as it rewinds. Observe faces you feared, now uncertain, shrinking in power. Moments of pain become loops with no direction. Each reverse step pulls emotional weight from your chest. You're not reliving it, you're dismantling its structure. By the time the memory reaches its beginning, it has no more momentum. You don't need to understand it, you only need to untie it. Memories can't trap you if they're not facing forward. Leave the room as it collapses behind you, and let sleep follow. 22. Blur line recall. Think of two memories, one painful, one peaceful. Now imagine them lying beside each other like ink on wet paper. As you stare, the colors begin to bleed into one another. The sharp edge of sadness absorbs the softness of joy. Details blend. Who said what, where you were, why it mattered. The clearer the mix becomes, the less important the specifics feel. Your mind starts letting go of the story it used to rehearse. Now you're holding something unfamiliar. Not false, but indistinct. Pain loses its roots when it forgets the path it grew on. What was once a blade now feels like fog. You don't need to make sense of it. You've blurred the boundary where the memory once ruled, and now it no longer knows how to find you. Let it wander in the confusion, and let sleep take its place. 23. Color wash overlay. Close your eyes and call up a memory that still feels cold. It appears in grayscale, dull and uninviting. Now visualize a wave of color slowly washing over it. Rich hues of warmth, gold, lavender, coral. The people stay the same, the sequence doesn't change, but the emotional tone shifts. What once felt threatening now feels neutral. The sky in the memory changes color. The air becomes softer. The tension in your chest begins to melt with each added hue. You're not pretending it didn't happen. You're choosing a new filter. Your mind believes the color, even if you don't. It calms the nervous system, one emotional pixel at a time. The color doesn't rewrite, it reinterprets, and reinterpretation is power. You're allowed to repaint the past for peace. Let the colors stay and rest in the warmth. 24. The melting clock trick. Picture a large clock sitting in the middle of your most stressful memory. Now imagine time melting around it, like wax stripping off a candle. The numbers slide off, the hands warp and bend. Time becomes meaningless. The memory begins to slow, losing its urgency. What once felt sharp now feels dreamlike. The people in the memory stop moving normally. They float, drift, freeze. Your emotions no longer sync with their faces. You begin to disconnect in the best way possible. Time is what made the memory feel permanent. By breaking it, you've taken its power away. You're the one bending time now, not the other way around. Let the clock keep melting until nothing makes sense anymore. That confusion is your freedom, and freedom is the path to sleep. Let it all melt into stillness. 25. Reflection loop. Imagine standing in front of a mirror that doesn't reflect your body. It reflects your memory. As you watch, the event begins to play. But in the mirror, it doesn't follow your memory's version. People react differently. You say something wiser. The outcome softens. At first, your mind resists. It knows this isn't how it happened. But the mirror doesn't care. It keeps playing this altered version with perfect clarity. You begin to feel what could have been, and your body responds. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between real and imagined emotion. It accepts this altered timeline as possible. Now you see that memories are not just recordings. They're stories. And stories can be retold. You are the author now, not the actor. Let the loop replay until it no longer hurts. Let the mirror show you peace. And let sleep be the final version. 26. The waking dream overlay. Bring up a memory that always makes you tense before sleep. Now picture a dream slowly overlapping it like a transparent veil. The real images don't disappear. They just become dreamlike. Details shift. Logic fades. Characters blend into surreal shapes. You're no longer trapped in the story. You're floating above it. The fear you once felt becomes curiosity. The pain feels distant, like watching a movie underwater. Everything becomes softer, stranger, and less important. This isn't distortion. It's transformation through unreality. Your mind knows it's dreaming even while awake, and in dreams, nothing holds power for long. Let the dream settle over every frame. Let the scene fall apart beautifully. What you feared has lost its form, and now you can sleep inside the dream. 27. Noise-canceling memory filter. Bring up a memory that speaks too loudly in your head. It repeats itself, doesn't it? Words echo, tones sting, silence screams. Now imagine placing a set of invisible noise-canceling headphones over your mind. Suddenly, the noise drops away, not to zero, but to softness. You still see the memory, but you no longer hear its voice. The sharpness of sound is what gave it so much power. Without sound, the scene becomes distant, almost muted. You realize most of the pain was carried in tone, not content. Even the harshest words lose weight without volume. Let the headphones stay on as long as you need. Let the memory pantomime silently in the background. You're not a participant anymore, just a quiet observer. And in that silence, your brain begins to rest. When the sound returns, you'll already be asleep, and it will be too late for it to matter. 28. Shadow play method. Visualize your memory being acted out by shadows on a paper screen. You're not inside it anymore. You're watching it as a silent play. The figures move in exaggerated, puppet-like motions. They aren't scary, they're theatrical, even absurd. Suddenly, what once haunted you begins to look ridiculous. The over-dramatized reactions highlight the surreal nature of the moment. You realize how much control you've given something that's now just shadow and light. The audience around you chuckles, and you feel yourself smile. The weight begins to lift. Not because the memory changed, but because your role did. You were the actor. Now you are the director. You call the curtain. You end the show. The shadows bow and fade into nothing. Only the screen remains, blank and still. You turn away from the stage and let yourself fall asleep backstage. 29. Backward voice. Dismantle. Play the memory in your mind like a recording. Now reverse the audio. Listen as voices slur backward. Laughter becomes garbled, and words lose meaning. The moment becomes unrecognizable. Even the emotion begins to unwind. You no longer understand what was said, and strangely, you no longer care. It feels like you're decoding a language that never belonged to you. The confusion is a gift. It removes clarity, and clarity feeds pain. Let the backward voices lull you into a trance. They mean nothing now, just sounds without message. The story collapses under the weight of its own nonsense. Now it's just noise. Then, it's not even that. You've dismantled its structure with reverse logic. There's nothing left to react to.
30. The origami fold. Imagine your memory printed on a single sheet of paper. You begin folding it, slowly, deliberately, corner by corner. Each fold bends the narrative, changes the shape, distorts the outcome. You fold it again, smaller and smaller, until the story becomes a tiny square. It no longer resembles anything you recognize. Then one final fold turns it into an origami bird. It flaps its wings gently and flies away. You smile, not because it's gone, but because it's no longer flat and sharp. It became something new, delicate, strange, and untouchable. You couldn't unfold it even if you wanted to. Your mind watches it fade into the sky. There's nothing left to carry, just open air and rest. Let the bird carry your pain into the night. 31. Name of the ghost. There's a memory that keeps visiting, always at night, always uninvited. You've tried to ignore it, reason with it, forget it. But tonight you'll do something different. Give it a name, a strange name, one it doesn't recognize. Maybe it's something silly, or ancient, or made up entirely. Say the name quietly in your mind, like labeling a jar. The memory pauses, confused. It no longer feels like part of you. It's now a character with a title. You don't owe it anything. You simply watch it, acknowledge it, and turn your back. It may follow for a moment, but it can't speak anymore. Not with the new name you've given it. Names create distance. Distance creates power. Power creates rest. 32. Memory vault. Banishment. Visualize a vault, different from the safe one used for gentle memories. This one is ancient, sealed in stone, carved with symbols you don't recognize. You carry the memory in a box. It's heavy, loud, and pulsing. You don't open the box. You already know what's inside. Approach the vault and place the box inside without ceremony. It resists, of course. It always does. But the vault hums as if it understands your burden. The stone door slides shut, sealing the memory with a sound that echoes through your bones. You walk away without looking back. You know it's in there, and that's enough. It may knock again someday, but you won't answer. This ritual isn't about forgetting. It's about refusing to carry. The vault was made for this. Let it hold what you shouldn't have to.
33. Disintegration ray.
Visualize the memory standing in front of you like a hologram. It looks real, but you know it's only projection. Raise your hand and a soft pulse of light gathers in your palm. The ray activates, not aggressive, just precise. You direct it toward the memory and it begins to glitch. First the background flickers, then the faces blur, and then it starts breaking into light. Pieces fall off like flakes of digital ash. You say nothing. You don't interfere. You simply allow it to decompile. There's no rush. You're patient. And soon, there's nothing left but empty space. The ray fades on its own. You lower your hand and feel the silence settle. There's nothing left to remember here. Only room to breathe again. 34. The silent banquet. Picture a long table set in an empty, candle-lit room. Seated around it are all the thoughts that won't stop replaying. They're loud at first, chattering, interrupting, repeating. But you sit at the head of the table and raise your hand. Silence falls instantly. Not fear, but respect. You don't say a word. You simply look at each thought in turn. One by one, they lower their heads. You gesture, and they rise from the table and walk away. They know they are no longer welcome tonight. Not because they're bad, but because you need quiet. The candles remain, flickering softly. The plates are untouched, the wine unpoured. It is a banquet of absence. And in that stillness, your mind finds rest. Let the silence feed you. 5. The gatekeeper ritual. There is a gate deep inside your subconscious, old and made of black iron. You've never used it before, but it's always been there. Tonight, you become its keeper. A memory approaches, pushing forward like it always does. This time, you don't open the gate. You stand firm, calm and unmoving. The memory bangs, pleads, begs to be let in. You simply shake your head and watch it slowly back away. It tries again and again, but you grow stronger in your stillness. Eventually, it stops knocking, not because it's gone, but because it knows it no longer commands you. You hold the key. You decide what enters. And tonight, nothing gets through. Only sleep.
The lighthouse trap.
Imagine your memory as a ship lost at sea, crashing into your thoughts each night. But now you've built a lighthouse. Tall, brilliant, and untouchable. As the ship draws near, your light activates. It blinds the memory, disorients it, keeps it circling at a distance. It can no longer find your shore. Each time it tries to dock, the light redirects it. This isn't cruelty. It's boundary. The storm doesn't stop, but it no longer reaches you. You sit in the tower, watching the sea churn far below. You don't shout. You don't fight. You simply let the light do its work. The memory is now a ghost ship, forever circling but never arriving. Let it stay lost. Let it forget how to find you. You are safe in your tower. 37. Ink spill containment. You remember the thought like it spilled onto your consciousness. Sudden, messy, unwanted. Instead of trying to clean it, you imagine it as ink. You place a thick page underneath, letting it soak in. Then another page and another. Each one dulls the intensity, absorbs the meaning. Eventually, the ink stops spreading. Now stack the pages and close the book. Seal it with a ribbon and a weight. You don't throw it away. You simply shelve it. High up, where your sleeping self will never reach. The ink is still there, but it no longer stains your mind. It's sealed, quiet, and closed. No more leaks, no more stains. Only white space, ready for dreams. 38. The Eclipse Protocol. Visualize a giant moon moving across your inner sky. The memory is the sun, bright, relentless, always present. But now the moon covers it inch by inch. Light fades, heat softens, and the world dims. At full eclipse, there's nothing but a ring of silence. Your breath slows, your heartbeat sells. The memory is still there, but unreachable. Hidden behind the dark calm of the moon, you sit beneath this celestial hush. No time, no pain, just pause. Eventually the eclipse will pass, but not tonight. Tonight the moon stays, and in its shadow you sleep. Deep, uninterrupted.
39. The red thread sever. A thread connects you to this memory, thin, red, taut with tension. It's wrapped around your finger, tied to your thoughts. You tug on it often without realizing, feeding it attention. But now, in your mind, you reach for a quiet blade. One clean slice. The thread snaps and the memory recoils. It floats backward like a balloon suddenly untethered. You don't chase it. You let it drift into the clouds. There's a sting in the finger, but then relief. The connection is broken. You're no longer holding on. You've untied the loop. Sleep follows the cut. Let it close the gap completely. 40. The clock tower seal. Imagine an ancient clock tower rising in your mental landscape. Inside, a single bell rings every time this memory returns. You climb the spiral stairs with effort, carrying a heavy key. At the top, the bell swings in silence. It hasn't struck yet tonight. You insert the key into the mechanism and slowly turn. With a deep metallic click, the bell becomes locked in place. It can no longer swing. The memory will try to shake it loose, but the gears are frozen. You sit beside the bell, watching time slow. The tower is quiet now. You've taken away the sound, and the silence echoes like a lullaby. No more chimes, no more warnings, just rest. 41. The Ouroboros recall. Close your eyes and select the memory that refuses to die. Not the loudest, not the worst, just the one that circles endlessly. Instead of pushing it away, invite it in. Replay it from the beginning, frame by frame, without resistance. And when it ends, start it again. Over and over, you loop it without emotion, without judgment. Soon the edges blur, details skip. You begin to forget what came first. The memory begins to eat itself, looping not from meaning, but exhaustion. Every time it loops, it loses sharpness. Like a snake swallowing its own tail, it starts to collapse inward. The emotion leaks out first, then the sequence breaks apart. Eventually, it implodes under its own weight. All that's left is stillness and silence, thick enough to sleep inside. 42. The observer's mind. Imagine stepping out of yourself and into a quiet balcony above your brain. From here, you can see your thoughts as weather, passing clouds, not permanent truths. You watch a memory drift by like a thundercloud. But now, you're not inside the storm. You're the sky it moves through. You feel nothing. You judge nothing. You are the observer, detached and deeply calm. You watch the memory rise, peak, and fall. You even notice the gap between thoughts. Pure space, untouched. From up here, even fear seems small. Your body continues to breathe gently, slowly. The memory tries to reach you, but it can't fly this high. You've transcended the timeline. You're not a prisoner of what happened. You're the witness of everything. and the owner of none. Drift above it all until sleep carries you higher. 43. Synthetic memory mesh. Now imagine your brain like a network of woven threads, organic, electrical, and fluid. You begin inserting threads from stories you've read, films you've loved, dreams you barely remember. Memories that didn't happen, but comfort you anyway. A childhood from a novel, a moment of triumph from a film, a goodbye that ended beautifully in a dream. You begin weaving them into your real memory net, not to replace, but to strengthen. Real and imagined begin to blend. You recall laughing under cherry blossoms that never existed. You feel warmth from someone who was never real, but feels familiar. Your brain accepts these threads because they hold meaning. Meaning is more important than truth. This mesh now cradles your real memories, softening their jagged edges. It is not deception, it is adaptation. Lie within the web you've woven, and rest inside your chosen story. 44. Echo room drift. You enter a round chamber made of black glass and soft vibration. When you speak your memory aloud, the room captures the sound and delays it. You hear the words again, but twisted, echoed, slowed. Each repetition becomes more distorted, more dreamlike, until it's no longer a story, just echoes of something that once mattered. You sit in the center, letting the distortions soften the edges of what you remember. You realize your pain was partially built from repetition. Now that repetition works in your favor, slowly dismantling your connection to it. You feel your breath sync with the room's quiet hum. You whisper the memory one final time. It returns as a lullaby of syllables you no longer understand. Just sound, just sleep. The room goes dark and takes the memory with it.
Stargazer collapse. Lie back and imagine the ceiling above you vanishing. In its place, an endless night sky filled with impossible constellations. Each star is a memory, flickering, distant, small. You stare at them all at once. No story, just light. And then, one by one, the stars begin to blink out. Not violently, but gently. The sky empties itself, and with it, so do you. You release the need to remember. You release the need to matter. The universe doesn't ask you to hold on. It invites you to disappear into the vastness. No fear, just expansion. No thoughts, just dark beauty. Let the final star go out and become one with the stillness. 47. Fractured time bubble. Envision a bubble surrounding your consciousness, separating you from time. Outside, the world moves, memories form, decay, repeat. Inside, nothing moves. You're frozen but not stuck. You feel the weight of past experiences melt off your skin. The bubble holds you in perfect suspension. No expectations, no reaction. Your brain begins to lose its grip on sequence and consequence. There's no before, no after. Only this soft floating pause. Memories knock, but their knocks create no echo here. They fade before they touch the glass. Eventually, even thought slows, and all that's left is breath and weightlessness. Let yourself drift in this timeless cocoon. 48. The dreaming tree. Imagine a massive tree growing in your mind. Branches made of light, roots made of sleep. You sit at its base, back pressed to its glowing trunk. Each leaf contains a story you've lived or longed for. The leaves fall gently, one by one, as the tree sighs. These are not losses, they are gifts, offered to the dream world. The tree doesn't mourn its leaves. It knows they will return in new forms. You breathe in the scent of imagination and soft memory. You feel your body begin to merge with the soil. The tree cradles you without pressure. The roots pull away what you no longer need to remember. It feeds you peace. You become lighter. You become quieter. And then, only the tree dreams on.
49. The Rewinder. Imagine holding a remote control for your brain. You press rewind, not to relive, but to unravel. Every moment you regret begins to flow backward. But this time, they shrink instead of sharpen. The more you rewind, the more ridiculous they seem. Words spoken get sucked back into mouths. Awkward moments vanish before they land. You laugh softly, because now you see how little they matter. The past loses authority in reverse. Eventually, you rewind so far that nothing remains. Just silence. You let go of the remote and place it out of reach. You won't need it again tonight. Let the tape stay blank, and let yourself fall into static. "50. Echo, merge, dissolution. Imagine every memory, every thought, every whisper in your mind merging into one sound. It starts quiet, like distant wind. Then it grows, layers folding on layers, creating a single, slow-moving frequency. This frequency carries no message, it just exists, like the hum of the earth. All your memories are absorbed into it, no longer separate, no longer distinct. The pain doesn't disappear, it dissolves into tone. Your identity follows it, stretching into sound. This is not forgetting, it's merging. You become one note in the quiet song of your own healing. The frequency slows, then fades, then nothing, and then sleep. 51. False wake induction. Close your eyes and imagine waking up in a room that's not your own. It's familiar, but wrong. The colors slightly off, the angles unfamiliar. You've just woken up. Or have you? This is a dream inside the memory, folded like origami. You begin walking around this strange version of your life. The memory you feared is here, but it looks different now. It's too quiet, too soft. You touch it like a prop on a stage. Suddenly, you realize it's no longer real, just a simulation your mind forgot to delete. You sit down inside the dream and smile. If you can wake inside the false, you can fall asleep inside the real. There's no urgency. No one's watching. You're not escaping anything. You're just passing through. And on the other side is sleep. Neural glass slide. Picture your memory laid out like a microscope slide. You lean over it gently, seeing every detail perfectly contained. There's no risk of feeling anything. You're observing, not experiencing. Every emotion is preserved in resin, silent and unmoving. Now slowly, turn the light down. Let the slide dim, until only outlines remain. Your memory is no longer alive. It's archival, a silent artifact, nothing more. You place a label on it. Resolved. Then slide it back into the drawer of your mind. The drawer clicks shut with satisfaction. You are not suppressing, you are classifying. Not every memory needs to stay in motion. Some just need to rest. 53. Deep sea suspension. Imagine you are sinking slowly through warm, infinite water. The surface world, thoughts, memories, sensations, fades above you. With each meter down, sound disappears. Then weight, then story. Your memory floats above you like a buoy, untethered. It can't reach this deep. Here, pressure doesn't hurt. It comforts. There's no time, no direction, no language. Only the sound of your own heartbeat. Slower now. You pass through flickers of dreams like glowing jellyfish, soft, unreal, dissolving on contact. You have not drowned. You have returned to the original silence, the place before memory. Stay here. Float here. 54. Recursive bed technique. Visualize yourself lying in bed, dreaming of lying in bed. Inside that dream, you lie in bed again and again. A loop of yous, each one more distant than the last. Each body relaxes deeper than the one above it. Each mind holds fewer thoughts, until the final version of you is just breath and nothing more. No ideas, no past, no self. Just stillness, layered on stillness, like Russian dolls of rest. The top one watches the rest fall asleep. The bottom one never wakes. You are both. You are gone. Memory bleed blend. Picture all your memories as ink stains slowly merging on a wet canvas. They blur into each other, not in chaos, but in surrender. Painful ones begin to lose their outlines. Joys leak into regrets. Mistakes wash into wisdom. It's all one painting now, messy, abstract, and strangely beautiful. You don't need to separate the parts anymore. There's no moral, no blame, no label. Just one large, soft blur. And you are not in the painting. You are the canvas underneath, the foundation, untouched, eternal. Let the ink settle. Let the colors spread. There is peace in becoming undefined. Quantum displacement drift. Close your eyes and imagine that you, right now, are not the only version of you. There are infinite copies, one healed, one brave, one asleep. Tonight, you choose to switch places. The you who can't rest steps aside. The version of you who is deeply at peace steps forward. No drama, no effort, just a quiet exchange. You let this new you settle into your skin. They breathe slower. Their thoughts are quieter. Their memories don't hurt in the same way. You don't erase who you were. You just shift into who you need to be tonight. Let the other you hold the pain. You have dreaming to do. Now switch. Synaptic fog generator. Picture your brain as a city of glowing connections, wires flickering with thought. Now trigger the fog generator. A soft mist begins to drift through. Neurons dim. Pathways go quiet. The memory you feared becomes unreadable, like a road sign in thick fog. You see shapes, but not meanings. You hear voices, but not words. And soon, nothing makes sense. Beautifully so. There's no danger in confusion. There's peace in obscurity. Let the fog flood every street of your mind. This is not loss. This is protection. Not everything must be visible to be healed. Let the fog stay until morning. You'll be asleep long before then. D8. The rebirth. Snapshot. Hold the image of your worst memory in your mind. Now picture a single bright flash, like a camera going off in the dark. And in that flash, everything changes. The setting, the faces, even you. You're reborn inside the memory. Same place, different energy. You smile instead of flinch. You forgive instead of freeze. The photo that forms is beautiful, false, and healing. Frame it in your mind.
Replace the old snapshot with this one, not to deny, but to overwrite. You are allowed to remember differently. You are allowed to choose your story's cover photo, and you are allowed to rest inside it. Reconnection. Imagine one gentle memory, any moment of calm, even if tiny. Maybe a song, a scent, a quiet look from someone kind. Now visualize a silver thread connecting you to that memory. Let it pull gently on your chest, not hard, just enough to shift your focus. You're not running from pain, you're being guided towards softness. Let the thread guide you through the dark woods of your thoughts. It weaves through the noise, cutting a clean path. At the end is a bed made of light and breath. The memory doesn't demand attention, it offers presence. Lie down inside it. Hold the thread in your hand. It won't break. It will hold you all night. Cognitive mirror collapse. Now look into a mirror inside your mind. At first, you see your current self, tired, worried, restless. But then, the reflection begins to change. You see younger versions of yourself, laughing, crying, dreaming. Then older versions, quiet, wise, distant. The mirror cycles through every self you've ever been and could become. And then, it stops. It goes black. Your reflection disappears. There's no self left to manage, defend, or explain. Just dark glass and deep breath. No identity, no problem, no watcher, only sleep. 61. The reality unthreading. Begin by imagining the fabric of your daily life as a tightly woven cloth. Each thread represents tasks, conversations, expectations, everything that holds your reality together. Now picture a loose thread near the bottom corner. You gently tug on it. It unravels a little. And so does a part of your day. You tug again. More of the world starts to unweave. Time loses its structure. Sound becomes soft. You keep pulling until entire chunks of memory fall away like undone stitches. There is no resistance, no urgency, just gentle unraveling. You're not destroying anything. You're letting it fall back into formlessness until all that remains is you, a quiet awareness floating in the void. There's nothing left to hold on to, so you rest. 62. The wishing clock. You find yourself in a room with a single ancient clock. Its hands do not tell time, they measure emotion. You turn the dial to peace, the tick slows. Then you turn it again, to safety. The chimes soften. You turn it one last time to forgetting, and the clock stops. In this silence there is no past, only the space between seconds. This moment is a wish made real. You sit beside the still clock, and time does not resume. Not until you ask it to, and you won't. Not tonight. 63. Data purge ceremony. Imagine your brain as a glowing server room filled with data towers. Each light is a thought. Some flicker, broken, corrupted memories. You walk slowly through the room, scanning each tower. You find the cluster marked unhelpful. You place your hand over it. A quiet prompt appears. Purge? You whisper, yes. The lights go dark, one by one, like stars fading. There's no drama, no explosion, just quiet deletion. You feel your shoulders drop. The room breathes with you. You are not empty. You are optimized. Now lie down in the silence of fresh space. 64. The rememberer's farewell.
There is a being in your mind whose only job was to remember everything. It kept track of pain, timelines, errors, echoes. It did this to protect you, but tonight you tell the rememberer, you can go. Not because it failed, because you don't need the armor anymore. You watch it nod solemnly and step back into the shadows. Its files flutter away like ash. You feel exposed for a moment, then incredibly light. What you forget tonight will not hurt you. It will heal you in secret. Let the rememberer rest. Let your brain power down.
66. Noise cancellation field. Picture your mind generating static. Unwanted thoughts, embarrassing loops, fears. Now imagine turning on a noise cancellation field, not sound, but psychic vibration. Each repeating thought is countered, flattened, neutralized. You don't push them away. They cancel themselves. You begin to hear something underneath it all. Your real self, breathing. The hum of your nervous system, the rhythm of healing. You wrap the field around your entire being, like a warm silence that loves you back. No more input, no more noise, no more mental gravity. You float in the neutral and fade out, like music at the end of a song. 67. Time dilation nest. Visualize a nest made of soft time, coiled strands of moments stretched thin. You curl inside, and time begins to bend around you. Minutes stretch like silk, hours shrink into seconds. You are free from clocks, alarms, and memory loops. The past slows down behind you. The future forgets to arrive. Everything becomes now. And even now begins to dissolve. You are safe inside this slowed down place. Nothing urgent exists here. Only breath and heartbeat. The nest holds you like a second skin. Let time sleep while you do. Let memory hibernate. 68. The clean slate loop. Your mind starts every night with leftover noise. But what if you began again, completely blank? You imagine wiping the chalkboard of your memory. At first, it resists. The marks are deep. But with each pass, the slate gets lighter. You don't need to forget everything, just enough. Enough to start dreaming from zero. You draw a single circle on the board, your new symbol. This will be your focus. Everything else fades. You are now the blank space, no words, no history, just white, waiting to be filled with dreams. 69. False archive technique. In your mind, you walk into a library of memories. But here's the twist. Most of these books are false. Beautiful fictions you wrote for yourself to feel better. You know they aren't real, and that's okay. You reach for a book titled The Day Everything Was Okay. You sit and read it slowly. The language is soothing. The characters are kind. The ending is gentle. You know it's not your past, but your mind doesn't care. It just wants the feeling. You place the book on your chest. It becomes warm. Then, it disappears into your skin, and you fall asleep with its comfort inside you. 70. Sleep cycle override. Normally, your body waits for chemicals and routines to guide sleep, but tonight, you override the cycle manually. You visualize a panel with a single button, surrender. You press it without hesitation. A soft wave rolls over your nervous system. Your muscles obey first, then your thoughts follow, then the parts of you that fear letting go. Each one powers down like a system update. There's no need to wait for tiredness. You've bypassed it. You've told your brain, we're done here, and for once it listens. The override holds, and you are gone. 71. The internal sleep architect. Imagine a small figure inside your mind, the one who builds your dreams. This architect has been waiting for silence to begin construction. They open a blueprint marked Tonight's Restoration. You see no chaos in the plan, only calm landscapes and memory repairs. They lay foundations using moments of peace you've forgotten. With each brick, you feel your body grow heavier. The architect hums, quiet and slow, syncing with your breath. Walls rise around old wounds, sealing them off for the night. A garden forms where anxious loops used to live. Soft light seeps in through skylights made of acceptance. You are not controlling this. You are the house being rebuilt. Every room designed for rest. No stairs to climb, no alarms to fear, just corridors of stillness. And the architect whispers, "Sleep now, I've got this." 72. The glitch room. Visualize entering a pure white room in your mind. It flickers slightly, like faulty signal on an old screen. This is where broken thoughts go. You place a memory on the table in front of you. It glitches, repeats a phrase, loops a gesture, stutters on an emotion. At first, it's annoying, then it becomes absurd. You begin to notice how fake it feels. Memories aren't flawless, they distort over time. This one is clearly a faulty copy. You reach for the panel on the wall and activate the reset buffer. The room flashes, and the glitch freezes. The loop ends. The memory breaks into polygons and disappears. You sit in the empty room, finally free. No more loops, just light. 73. The dreaming observer swap. Tonight you stop being the main character in your own memory. Instead, you become the observer, the quiet figure in the corner of the scene. You watch your past unfold like a movie. There is no urge to interfere, no need to judge or feel, just pure observation. You notice things you never saw before, the lighting, the tension, the silence between words. But it doesn't reach you. You are the screen, not the story. You are the silence between frames.
The observer cannot be hurt. The observer cannot get stuck. The observer can sleep. You stay in that position as the scene fades to black, and in the dark, you finally drift. Reverse memory bloom. Think of your most persistent memory, the one that returns without permission. Now picture it as a flower, blooming in fast forward. The petals open violently, too fast, too wide. But then, the bloom reverses. Petals close back in, shrinking, folding, fading. The memory compresses into a seed. You pluck the seed and hold it in your hand. You are bigger than it now. You could plant it or toss it away. But for now, you just hold it, calm and unafraid. You are not in the bloom anymore. You are in the quiet after. The garden has stopped growing. Let the ground rest. Let the soil dream instead. The sleep proxy transfer. You're too alert to fall asleep, but that's okay. Tonight, you assign a proxy. You visualize a version of yourself that feels no stress, no memory burden. They lie down for you. They close their eyes for you. They drift off while you watch. And slowly, you begin to feel what they feel. Your muscles mimic theirs. Your breath matches. The line between you blurs. You don't need to force sleep. You just let the proxy go deeper and you follow. They've got this. You're safe to hand it over. Now sleep through them. Mural map redraw. Picture a map of your brain, a city grid of memory streets and emotional highways. Some paths are cracked, others loop endlessly. You lift a glowing pen and begin to redraw. Erase a path of rumination, add a shortcut to calm. Turn guilt avenue into forgiveness lane.
Remove that dead end of what-ifs. You're not editing reality, just updating how you travel through it. The new layout feels clean, intuitive, light. Memories don't disappear, they just move to better neighborhoods. You finish your edits and roll the map back up. It pulses once, syncing with your pulse. A quiet bell rings, the roads go dark, and traffic stops for the night. Third eye blur technique. Focus on the space between your eyebrows, the so-called third eye. This is where insight lives, where memories sometimes echo too loudly. Now imagine smearing a soft fog over it, not to blind, just to blur. Sharp images lose their edge. Painful thoughts become silhouettes. The clarity that hurts you softens. You don't have to see everything tonight. You're allowed to blur what's too much.
78. Synaptic tuning fog. In the center of your brain is a quiet vibration, the tone of your consciousness. Tonight, you strike an invisible tuning fork. It hums in perfect resonance with rest. The sound ripples outward, shaking dust off old memories. The echoes push away noise, confusion, and tension. Only what matches the frequency remains. Everything else falls silent. You hum along with it, soft, steady. This is your brain in harmony. Not thinking, just vibrating gently. You don't guide the sound. You surrender to it. Let it wash over the parts that ache. Let it retune your sleep frequency. Now you match the tone of dreams. 79. Emotional firewall activation. Picture your emotions as data streams, fast, erratic, vulnerable. You activate a firewall between your heart and your memories. It doesn't block, it filters. Only calm gets through. Only peace is allowed past the barrier. Pain hits the wall and bounces off softly. Rage dissolves before reaching the core. Fear is slowed to a trickle. You feel the difference. Your emotional system cools. The firewall hums in protective silence. You didn't suppress your feelings. You upgraded your access. The fire no longer spreads at night. Let the firewall run quietly in the background and fall asleep in its care. 80. The shadow twin exchange. There is a shadow version of you, not evil, just heavy. They carry every memory you couldn't process. Tonight, you meet them. They don't speak. They don't blame. They simply open their arms. You hand them a bundle, a quiet offering of weight. They nod and take it without question. In return, they give you nothing. And that's what you needed. Nothing. No thoughts, no emotion. Just the absence of burden. They walk away, disappearing into the dark. And you lie down, finally light enough to sleep.
Subconscious vault entry. Visualize a massive underground vault sealed beneath your mind. It's ancient, built to hold things too heavy to carry. Tonight, you have the key. You walk through long stone corridors lit by your breath. Inside the vault, memories, voices, loops, and burdens stacked like relics. You don't need to open them. You're here to store, not to analyze. You place one more object, a thought that won't let you sleep, on the shelf. You whisper goodbye, not with sadness, but with finality. The vault doesn't judge, it just holds. You lock the door gently. There is no need to destroy, only to contain. You rise slowly, leaving the weight behind. Now your mind is clear enough for silence to enter.
Memory vaporization ritual. Hold a memory in your hand like an ice cube. Feel its cold edges, its sharp familiarity. Then visualize heat. Warm breath, light from your chest or a rising sun. The memory begins to melt, not rapidly, but rhythmically. It drips down your fingers, evaporates into the air above you. Soon, only a faint mist remains. You inhale it, not to keep it, but to transform it. It no longer stings. It's just vapor, part of the atmosphere of your subconscious. You don't forget it. You change its state, from solid to soft to nothing. You lie down, hands empty, mind warm. 83. Default mode network. Pause. Your brain's background system, the default mode network, runs when you're not doing anything. It replays, rehearses, overthinks, but tonight you're going to turn it off. Not forever, just long enough to rest. Picture a glowing switch in your chest labeled DMN. You reach in and flip it down. The hum of internal narration slows. The need to think stops chasing his tail. You don't need to remember anything right now. There is no plot to track, no unresolved loops to fix, just the blank page between two thoughts. You sit on that page, still and wide-eyed, and you wait for sleep to write the next line. 84. Light echo collapse. Think of a memory that still echoes in your mind. It no longer screams, but it keeps calling. Now, imagine shining a bright light directly on it. So intense, it exposes the illusion. The echo shrinks under the weight of clarity. You see it for what it is, repetition, not truth. The light bends around it, suffocating its rhythm. You hear it once more, then never again. No pain, just a fading echo that ran out of energy. Light is the final eraser. Not with force, but with understanding. You are not haunted. You are illuminated. Now rest in the glow. 85. Emotional temperature reset. Your emotions each carry temperature. Anger burns, sadness chills, guilt weighs like humidity. But your internal thermostat is in your hands tonight. You turn the dial down, not to numbness, but neutrality. The heat fades. The frost lifts. The air inside your chest becomes balanced. No extremes, no shocks, just the perfect emotional temperature for sleep. You realize now that your thoughts felt heavy because the climate was wrong. You adjust it again, just slightly. Cool enough to calm, warm enough to heal. And in this perfect atmosphere, you drift. 86. The observer's shell. Tonight, you place yourself inside a protective mental shell. It's not hard or heavy, just quiet. This shell doesn't block the world, it muffles it. Memories knock on the outside, but they can't enter. Thoughts lose their urgency. Even your inner voice sounds far away. From inside the shell, your body begins to soften. Every worry bounces off the curved walls and vanishes. You watch your own mind from a distance, and it feels good. Like watching waves from behind glass. You've created a sacred space of pause. Not isolation, sanctuary.
You don't need to feel everything tonight, but the shell stay closed. Let the world wait. Cognitive scent diffusion. You visualize a memory as a strong, overwhelming smell, too sharp to breathe around. But you have a diffuser in your hand. You drop the memory into it like oil. The diffuser transforms it, not erasing, just reshaping. The harsh edges soften. The air grows rich and strange. You begin to smell something new. Peace, nostalgia, distance. It's not the original memory anymore. It's a scent of it, one your brain can tolerate. You inhale deeply, letting it fill your lungs. This version of the memory can stay, quiet, aromatic, almost lovely. You fall into it like fog, breathing slow, feeling safe, wrapped in the scent of what once hurt. 88. Neural curtain fall. Picture a stage in your mind where memories have been performing all day. They've repeated their monologues endlessly, hoping for attention. But now, you slowly lower the curtain. The spotlight fades. The audience, your attention, stands and leaves. The memory actors stop performing. They remove their masks, grow silent, and vanish into the wings. You thank them quietly. They served their purpose. But tonight, the theater is closed. You stand behind the curtain and breathe in darkness. No performance, no story, just backstage stillness, and an empty stage where dreams will play instead. 89. Harmonic self-merge. You've always had multiple versions of yourself. The thinker, the doubter, the dreamer. Tonight they sit in a circle. No arguing, no judgment, just presence. They begin to hum. Not words, just tones. Each voice blends with the next, harmonizing into one sound. The frequency fills the space inside you. There's no conflict now, only resonance. The parts of you that used to pull apart now pull together. You don't need to choose a single self. You just let them all rest in harmony. The hum becomes a lullaby. Your body begins to vibrate with it, then quiets, then sleeps. 90. Gravity reversal descent. Feel the pull of gravity in your body. It's what's kept you alert, held upright. Now, slowly, reverse it. You float backward, like a film rewinding. Muscles untense. Your spine melts into the surface below you. Your thoughts rise like balloons. The heavier the memory, the higher it floats. Soon, you are completely weightless. No story can stick to you now. No feeling can pin you down. You drift upward into quiet. You pass through layers of thought, each one thinner than the last, until you reach the top of nothing, and let go completely. Let gravity forget you. The final thought. Blackout. Tonight, you give your last thought a gentle signal. This is the end. You don't fight it or rush it. You just let the final thought arrive. It's small. A word, an image, a flicker. You hold it in your mind like a candle flame. Then you blow it out. Darkness fills the space immediately. Not scary, just full. Your brain expects the next thought, but you don't deliver. You offer silence instead. And then silence becomes the rhythm. The need to think slowly decays. You are not stuck. You are unplugged. There's no reboot until morning, and nothing left to say. Picture a garden inside your mind, where each plant is a thought. Some are overgrown, some are thorned, but tonight you only tend to the gentle ones. You kneel beside a soft green vine of peace and water it slowly. A flower opens, the smell of joy, vague, but familiar. You pull out the weeds, judgment, fear, old narratives. Each one dies in your hands without resistance. You breathe the garden in. The air is sweet and still. Neurons rest under the soil like seeds, not signals. Your brain becomes soil, not storm. Your thoughts become petals, not alarms. There is nothing to solve in this garden. Only things to touch once, then release. Sleep grows here, like moss. Subconscious cloud migration. Think of your brain as a hard drive, overfull with thoughts. Tonight, you upload everything to a subconscious cloud. You don't delete, you relocate. Each thought floats upward as a glowing bubble. You watch them ascend, even the heavy ones. In the cloud, they're safe, but far away. You don't need immediate access. They'll wait until morning, archived with care. Now, your internal drive is empty, blank, capable of dreaming without interruption. You aren't avoiding, you're reorganizing. The upload completes. You turn off the console and drift into low-power mode. 94. The soundless memory reel. You sit in front of a screen inside your mind. A reel of memories plays, all silent. There are no screams, no words, no voices. Just moving pictures with the volume turned off. You watch without reacting. A face passes, a mistake, a smile. None of it bites. It's too far now. It's strange how quiet changes everything. You begin to forget why it mattered so much. Your breath deepens with each scene. Eventually, the screen fades to black. You don't press rewind. You let the projector go cold. The reel ends not with credits, but with peace. Now close the theater for the night. 95. The infinite. Imagine standing between two mirrors facing each other. Your reflection repeats forever, endless versions of you. Each reflection holds a different memory, a different reaction. But none of them are the real you. You're the one standing still in the center, the only one who's not distorted. You wave. None of them respond. Because they're just echoes. Tonight you stop trying to fix the reflections. You step backward, and they disappear one by one, until there's only you. No mirror, no echo, just presence. And that's what sleep needs, only one of you. 96. The inner sky. Rotation. Lie back and imagine the ceiling above you is the night sky. But it's not the sky outside. It's the sky of your inner world. Each star is a thought you've had today. Some are bright, some flicker, some fading. Now the sky begins to rotate slowly, like a carousel. The thoughts move, pass, dissolve. No one stays long. You trace a constellation called Letting Go. Another one named Enough for Now. Eventually, the sky darkens, stars switching off one by one. You stop naming them. You stop watching. You simply float beneath them. A small thing under a vast quiet, and fall asleep beneath yourself.
0-point re-entry. You return to the place in your mind where it all began. Before memories, before thought, before name. The 0 point. Here, there are no expectations, no roles, no plans. Only awareness, naked and untethered. You sit in this void like an embryo in the dark. There is no direction, just existence. No story to remember, no future to project. You let your ego dissolve, molecule by molecule. Your identity softens like wax under a low flame. And when only the breath is left, you let even that go and merge with stillness. The lucid exit door. You walk down a hallway filled with doors. Each one is labeled with a dream you haven't had yet. But at the very end is a plain door, unmarked, undecorated. You open it and see nothing, just black, pure and inviting. You step inside not to explore, but to disappear. This is the lucid exit, not to wake, but to fade. You don't fall, you don't float. You dissolve gently like dust in water. This door doesn't lock. You can come back, but tonight, you close it from the inside. The handle vanishes, and the black becomes sleep. The final observer technique. Tonight, you observe even the act of falling asleep. You watch your thoughts slow. Then your awareness itself begins to dim. You watch even that. You stay present for the moment your mind forgets itself. And as it happens, you smile. You are still aware, barely, a whisper of a soul watching a dream form. Then the observer dissolves too, like the last star in a sky going black. You've reached the final vantage point. There's nothing left to witness. Just rhythm, just rest, just gone. The permission to forget. Tonight you give yourself permission, not to succeed, not to change, not to improve, just to forget. Forget what you were supposed to be. Forget the memory loop that begged to be solved. Forget the noise of becoming. Let yourself be forgotten by your own mind, just for a night. Like a traveler without a name resting under strange stars. There is no shame in forgetting. There is no failure in erasing. There is only softness. Your identity unplugs. Your history unhooks. And finally, without memory, without need, you fall asleep simply because you can.